welcome back to Speed Freak Garage, home of power sports on YouTube. Today we'll be installing the P3 Carbon Enduro Heat Shield Max Coverage. The reason why is my nice holes in my pants. Very nice burn holes from Husqvarna. Wonderful. So real nice. So we're going to install the heat shield, and we got the Enduro version since this is going to eventually be a Baja bike. So we're going to get it opened up, and we're going to check for damage because the box it came in had a giant ass hole in it when it arrived. So we're going to really carefully check this over and make sure it's not damaged. I don't see any damage. Man, this thing is thick. This thing is super thick. Oh wow. Very, very thick. Could use a coat of wax. Or maybe not, since it's a heat shield. Maybe it would not be a good idea. Okay. Got our hardware kit. Oh boy. And I apologize in advance to P3, but I don't like this sticker, so hopefully it just comes right off. I'm not a sticker person. I'm not a brand person. I don't want to advertise brands for no reason, although they definitely make great products. Like the Seat Concepts that's just stitched on there. I'll find a way to deal with that one of these days. Or just have to put, oh, well, yeah, if I have a seat bag that goes over it, no problem. All right. So let's go ahead and make sure we read the instructions because this would be a very expensive product to screw up. Remove any stock heat shields. Well, there are none. Melted pants. Hold shield to pipe for approximate location. Mount brackets using hose clamps in approximate. Do not fully tighten. Red thread locked bolts. Red. Ooh. Oh, this is not... I might run out of battery before I can get this done. So they're essentially saying to just dry fit it. And that's awesome. I'm hoping my pant leg... I'm assuming my pant leg melted right here. So that's what it looks like anyway, and not like there, because it doesn't even cover here. Ugh. Cannot have melted pants every single day. Not be good. Yeah, I'm a little confused on this. Mount brackets using hose clamps in a... okay. So it wants you to put the brackets and the hose clamps together first. That makes more sense. So we are going to, I think, do from the underside. So this is gonna go like this, around like that. That should be good. So let's see again here which side of the O2 that needs to be on. So that needs to be on here, one here, and the last one right on this bin down here. We're just gonna hand tighten everything. See, that's probably not an 8. I'm gonna guess it's a 6, or close enough to a 6 that we can use it. Ooh, that got tight quick. Let's back that off a little bit. Back that off a lot. Wow, that got tight really quick. There we go. Okay. Now the next one, same thing. We want to have it coming like that. So we're gonna put the clamp like this. I don't even know if I have red Loctite. It would have been nice for them to warn you ahead of time. Like, hey, just a heads up, you need red Loctite. Might have some left over from doing the Porsche suspension rebuild. Maybe. Okay. Tighten hose clamps as well as heat shield bolts. Do not over tighten. Okay. And this one is going to be a big pain. Go down here, and the exhaust is a little warm since I had started it for a few seconds earlier, but luckily not hot. Might have gone a little too far with that. Okay, now it's saying, so I'm a little skeptical on this next part. So it's kind of like, it's saying it wants you to red Loctite this in there, which I mean, I guess makes sense because it's going to vibrate a lot. But what I don't understand is how you're supposed to get back here and get access. Okay, we're gonna get the brackets lined up first, and then we're gonna just come back. Oh boy, the holes aren't even big enough. Shit. Ah, they're just riv nuts. If that riv nut is fucked up, it's never gonna go in. Okay, this is gonna be a nightmare. I can already tell this is gonna suck. Okay, and I'm only doing this temporarily. I have not forgotten the Loctite so that I can get the brackets where they need to go. This one obviously needs to go much further back. And this one, I think I kind of got lucky when I was guessing at where it's got to go because it's half-assed lined up. Yeah, that was lucky. That was super lucky. And then this one is pretty far off. Gonna bring it down. Okay, so we've now got all the bolts in, and I think that the main thing I want to do is make sure that this bracket here is as far back as I can possibly make it, because the whole point of this is to prevent my pants from burning, right? Like that's the only reason I even bought this, is because of my pants. So and the other thing is we have to make sure the hose clamps are somewhere we can actually get to them. This looks like it might make it a little difficult to change my oil. Could potentially be why they stopped here and didn't go any further back. I really want this one to be in the right place, or it's going to cause problems later. I mean, that seems like it's where it wants to be. And I'm not really tightening the hose clamps, I'm just snugging them so they don't slip on me when I go to get the Loctite and start Loctiting everything in. Okay. So I think that's pretty good, honestly. Yeah, that's really gonna make oil changes fun. And I think once we tighten the hose clamps down, it's gonna like suck in a little closer. Okay. You need to find red Loctite. I really wish they had just sent a little tube with it. Oh, there we go. Because I mean, like, literally it's not that expensive to just, you know, throw it in there with the product, the very expensive product. Make sure you shake it. Shit, is there any left? Great. Gonna guess it's this size. Nope, wrong guess. And I'm just massaging the Loctite here while I find the right size Allen wrench. If I have the right size. Okay. Okay, instead of struggling with that, just gonna have to borrow some tools from the other side of the garage that I do not like borrowing tools from, because these are supposed to be for the CNC side of the garage. Okay. Oh wait, watch it be a 3. Oh, it's a 4, thank God. Okay. All right, so we're going to take this one out. Get our washer and the red Loctite. We're gonna Loctite it. This is kind of scary because this is never gonna come back off, because there's no way you could ever torch it enough to get it off. So, you know, I probably should check and make sure the washers are supposed to go on the outside, but I couldn't see why not. All right, so I'm just gonna hand snug it because it said don't tighten it yet. I'm just gonna really quickly do one at a time so it doesn't fall apart. Washer, red Loctite. It's probably too much. Okay. Just hand snug it. Hope the GoPro battery doesn't die because I don't have an extra battery and the red Loctite's already ticking the timer. And it looks like I may have miscalculated the that one. So we're gonna have to I think we're gonna have to fight this one a little bit. Okay. Come on, don't fight me, just go. Got it. Whew, that was lucky. Okay, so now those are all hand tight. So now what we want to do is we just want to make sure everything is in the position it wants to be in, right? Like, want to make sure that's where it wants to be. This is where it wants to be. Or as far back as we can possibly get backwards, right? Okay, now we're going to redo the tightening. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna snug these down, these hose clamps down pretty good. Just hand snug them as far as they're gonna let me go by hand, which apparently is quite far. Okay, because it's like a little spring mount that holds everything in. Okay. Shit. Okay, so now they're all hand tight. And just one last check and make sure it's where we want it. Okay, and I'm pretty happy with that. I think that'll do good. So we're gonna come back again. We're gonna just carefully tighten these up. The problem is if you over tighten them, you could crack this carbon. And it doesn't look very carbon-ish, but that's because of the Enduro coating that's over the top of it. It's a much thicker coating. If you were going for bling, you obviously don't want the Enduro version, but that's not what we're going for. So, okay, and now I'm gonna very carefully see if I can get just a quarter turn. Ooh. Okay, eighth turn. Well, that one was actually, okay. And I think the purpose of the red Loctite is because you can't really get this very tight without risking cracking the, okay. That's about as tight as I am willing to go on something that's just resin. Yep, because resins are good in, or carbon fiber resins are good in tension, not compression. Okay. And then the only thing left to do is to tighten up the hose clamps. And again, same thing, you don't want to overdo it. You can actually hear it like pulling the mount up against the exhaust, which they didn't really say if you're supposed to like, whoops. They didn't really say how tight to get it. Like, are you supposed to get the mount like super tight or just barely tight? They didn't really provide a very good idea of what you're trying to do here. I mean, that's tight. That's sort of tight. And it's just pulling it closer because the mount's tightening down. I don't know how tight is tight. Like, what is tight? You know, like, what do they mean by that? Because these mounts, you can see they're just slipping over the pipe as you tighten them. So obviously there is such a thing as too tight, because then it's not doing its job anymore. Like, I'm not really, you know, understanding how I'm supposed to know if it's tight enough. We also want to make sure it's not going to rattle. Yeah, I would call that good. I mean, that looks pretty good to me. Just have to keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't start loosening up. Once this red Loctite seats, or like sets, yeah, once the red Loctite sets, then we won't have to worry about those. We'll just have to make sure the hose clamps don't ever come loose. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and we will see you next time.
Look at those beautiful stars. I wanna drive a faster car. Nothing can break me.